Hello there. I hope everybody's well. I just want to start by thanking everybody that's subscribed to this channel, and especially those that have been with me for a long time. We've reached 1,000 subscribers, which in the grand scheme of things it isn't very much. It's not very many at all. I look at some of the channels on here, and some of them are in their millions. Some folk have got millions of subscribers. And I've calculated that the length of time that it's taken me to get to 1,000 subscribers, for me to reach 1 million subscribers, if we look at the same sort of time spans, I will reach 1 million subscribers by the time I'm, what is it? I think it's 732 years old, which may not, realistically speaking. But nevertheless, thanks very much. It's just a little milestone, one of many. Now, I appreciate that with these videos, the ones where I'm sitting here prattling on at the microphone at this desk, these videos aren't quite so popular, and this channel is really all about me exploring Scotland and getting out there in the big wide world. But clearly at the moment, I can't do that. None of us can. So this is just like a wee sort of filler to kind of tide us over until such times as we're kind of allowed to get out there. So bear with me. This isn't going to be all about me looking at you in a camera there. I will include quite a few images, so you won't have to look at my face all the time. So a sign of the times are ghost signs. It's nothing to do with ghosts or ghoulies. Ghoulies? Is that the word? Ghouls. A ghoul, one ghoul, two ghouls, and a lot of ghoulies. Is that not right? Anyway, these signs are just little kind of remnants of the past that you might miss, and sometimes we never see them. They're hidden forever. And in general, they are shop signs, or the signs that you get above a shop window, usually the name of the shop or the owner of the shop or the type of shop. Joe Bloggs, grocer, wine and spirit merchant or whatever. And often when the shops are renovated and they take off a lot of this stuff that's been put on the frontage and been allowed to build up for years and years, and they uncover what's underneath, and sometimes it's a little gem of a remnant of the past, some original wording that's been there for decades and sometimes over 100 years, And as someone who's always been interested in the past, and I just love stuff like that. Every time there's a shop renovation happening, I generally find myself stopping and standing for a while on the pavement, looking up to see if there's anything going to be uncovered, while the workmen are looking down at me from their shaky bit of scaffolding, thinking, another old guy with nothing better to do with his time than stand and watch workmen all day. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled. You never know what you're going to see when they start removing stuff from shop frontages. It's generally painted lettering, but not always. Sometimes you can get little kind of oily remnants of signs or stuff that used to be there. It's all about keeping your eyes open and being observant as to what's going on around you. Right, that's the prattling over. Let's just get right down to this. So the first, I mean, I would have liked this to have been a variety of different premises, but in looking at it, most of them seem to be pubs. And perhaps that shouldn't be surprising for those who know me. But yeah, there's a lot of pubs here. But that's just the way it's worked out. Most of these are in Glasgow's West End, Partick and Finnieston areas. And the first one is the Rosevale Bar at the corner of Dumbarton Road and Rosevale Street in Partick. I pass this a lot, and I passed it recently, and I noticed just a little bit of old painted wording I'd never seen before, I'd never noticed. I don't know whether it's been uncovered or whether I've just not seen it. And it just, large capital letters saying W.I. And I was thinking, I wonder what that is. Because it could have been a number of things. The Rosevale Bar was at one time owned by, let me see, William T. Wiley. Like a lot of pubs, it's changed hands over the years. I think there was another William had it for a while. So I thought, that W.I., wonder if that's William. But then when you look at some old photographs, this one I think probably dates to the 1930s to 50s or something like that. And you can clearly see that above the windows it says Wine and Spirit Merchant. Wine and Spirit Merchant, it's just another name for a pub. And many pubs were originally called Wine and Spirit Merchants. So that W.I. is just part of that tag, Wine and Spirit Merchants. Next time you pass, have a look. Now the second premises, again it's a pub. It's the Western Bar in Pilar Street. This is now part of Greggs the Bakers, and Greggs have thankfully seen fit to retain a wonderful bit of sort of ghost lettering or painted wording and what have you on what used to be the front of the old Western Bar. You can see designs for, I mean, it's an advertisement as well. I mean, if you look, as well as the wording Western Bar, which I think actually says, you can't see it that clearly, but I think on the left it says wines, then it says Western Bar, and on the right I think it says spirits. And you can also see the advertisement for Regalia Old Highland Whisky. It's just probably one of the best examples of such a thing I've ever seen. Wonderful. Number 3 in this list is Anderson's College, which is further along Dumbarton Road. And that's an old building, probably one of the oldest buildings left in Partick, in fact. I think it goes back to the 1880s. And if you look very closely above the entrance of that building, Anderson's College used to be a medical school, you'll see ghost letters. They're very faint, but if you look you will see them, and you will see most of the tag Anderson's College. Now, in this instance, they're not painted. I think what's happened here, and I've seen this in another building. In fact, one time, decades ago, I was walking down Queen Street up to town, and there was a workman. If you walk down Queen Street from George Square, it was on the right-hand side. It was George Chambers or something. I can't remember exactly what it was called. George something or others. I think it was the entrance to a whole load of kind of offices and apartments that were called George something or other. And he was painting or something, and he was removing small wooden letters, each a couple of inches in height, that spelt out the name of this premises, George Chambers or whatever it was. And he was removing them with a kind of scraper, and they were just landing on the ground, and some of them were in the gutter. And I was sort of, I remember feeling a bit horrified Because this was this was the past. This man was howking off the stone and discarding in the gutter. At the time, I think, I did write an article. I think it was called History in the Gutter or something, which nobody ever accepted. Yeah, it was just... But if you pass there today and look up at that entrance, you will still see the remnants of one of those, two of those letters. I think you can still see an E and an O. It's not the wooden bits that he removed, but just a little kind of ghost remnant of what used to be there. And I think that's the situation in Anderson's College. The wording Anderson's College was either painted on originally, or else there were just little letters a couple of inches in height. And I think what's happened is some of the oil from, if it was paint, or some of the oil from the wooden letters, either scenario, has leached out and gone into the stonework. And that's what you're seeing there. A little kind of oily ghost of the past, which just fascinates me. And just across the road from Anderson's College, you've got what used to be the Exchequer Bar. I think it's now a nightclub. And it's just an absolutely wonderful wooden exterior. I don't know if you could call it an Art Nouveau exterior, probably dating to around 1900 or thereabouts. And it's a very beautiful wooden frontage for any premises. There's no ghost letters involved in this example. I just thought I'd throw this one in for good measure, seeing as we're on a kind of pub theme here. But and you can see some older photographs. In fact, not that old. I think there's one here, I think it was taken in 1981. And again, I've got all these images off the internet, and you can see the Exchequer Bar and the tenement that it was once attached to. The tenement's gone, and it's just the pub that's left. One story. I remember being in that pub. Yeah. Now, the next example is in Olden Barton Road, just a little bit further along and over the River Kelvin. In Olden Barton Road, and I only recently noticed this, and it's probably one of the best examples of ghost lettering I've ever seen. And it's for A. Cochrane. I think it was Andrew Cochrane, grocer. And you can see the painted wording, the up-to-date grocer. It's just wonderful, you know. It looks like really old sort of lettering, and to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if the letters are as old as the building itself. I don't know exactly how old that building is. I would imagine, and I'm guessing, that it's possibly the 1880s, and I think that lettering goes right back to there. Possibly the first lettering that ever appeared above a shop on that tenement. Now, apparently, Andrew Cochrane had a chain of grocers. You can see examples. I'll show you a photograph of a grocer elsewhere in the city. Obviously, a more recent image. But this particular, the lettering in this example on Olden Barton Road goes way back, way back. If you get a chance, just have a look at it. The next example is a pub. There's a theme here, isn't there? And it's opposite, or almost sort of opposite. It's a similar sort of area to the Kelvin Grove Cafe in the Finnieston area of Argyle Street. And the Kelvin Grove Cafe itself is a wonderful example of ghost lettering. And there's a little kind of example beside it that it says stationers above the window. And these are old letters and signs that have thankfully been kept, because they really add to the visual charm and beauty of a more modern retail business. A direct link with the past that it's just great. And the Crescent, you can see it today. It's at the corner. It's one of these premises that it's a pub, and it's been a pub probably ever since the building was built. Again, I don't know the exact date. I would be guessing probably around about the 1880s that tenement was thrown up. And the pub. I don't know when it was called the Crescent, but to me that looks like old lettering. I've seen them on one of the sites on the internet. They said that it was called the Crescent in the 1960s. That is probably the case, but to me that lettering looks much, much older. It really does. And like many pubs, it changed hands and changed names countless times over the years. That many that it's sometimes difficult to keep abreast of what it's now called. But the current owners have renamed it the Crescent and kept that lettering, which I just think is lovely. It's a good example of how you can use some of these old ghost signs to really give your business just a really good look. You're linking with the past and you're renovating the premises to a high standard, but acknowledging that this is an old building. And I just think it's great. Again, when you pass it, and have a look for yourself. Oh, that's right. I forgot to say, but one of the photographs I'll show you here is, as I say, it used to be called any number of things, but this photograph shows you when it was called the Driftwood Bar. I think that was in the 1980s. Now, last but by no means least is the Two Ways pub further along Argyll Street at the junction of Old Kent Road. It's probably more famous as being the pub used in, I think, the first Rab C. Nesbitt television series. And again, like so many pubs, it's changed hands and changed names countless times over the years. I can't remember what it's called just now. But, it was called the Two Ways for quite a long period of time, and I can't remember the exact date, a good few decades ago now, or over a decade ago I think, when they were renovating the pub and it was no longer going to be called the Two Ways. It seemed very sad somehow. And they were ripping off a kind of modern exterior that had been put on at some stage, and underneath they were uncovering remnants of an old pub. And all of a sudden you could see the letters. What was it? Let me just have a look here. That's right, the Finnieston Station Bar. I don't think anyone ever knew that it had ever been called that. At one time, Finnieston Station used to be just across the road. Yeah, we don't have that station anymore. It was just such a lovely thing to see that, you know. It's like an old pub suddenly being brought back to life. And again, that's in a really old building. That's a kind of sharp tenement corner between Argyll Street and Old Kent Road. And every time I pass it, I look up at that building, and I just think, as a structure, I always think it looks fragile. You know, I'm always looking for cracks in the stonework, to telltale signs that it might be thinking about falling down. I don't know how old it is, but I would be guessing if I said it may go back as far as the 1850s or 60s. Some of the older tenements in the city do. And that's it. Just a short look at all these kind of little remnants of the past. And the next time you're out and about, have a look for yourself. It's amazing what you can see when you look. So take care. I'm looking forward to the 26th of April, when, all being well, we'll be able to go out into the countryside. I so miss getting out there and amongst all that green stuff. So take care, guys, and I'll see you again.